Hi, everyone. My name is Lucy Schiffman, and I'm the Senior Manager of Community Engagement for the Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation. I am so excited to be welcoming you to our Week 3, The Benefits of Nature and Breathwork for Myotonic Dystrophy in Motion Awareness Month. To start us off, I'm going to be bringing on Annalise Kalmanoff, who is one of our MDF interns. It's really special for us. Annalise has come back in her second year as an MDF intern, as she's so excited to be serving alongside the myotonic dystrophy community. She has been instrumental in working with our movement committee to put on this awareness month, and we're really excited to have her here. So join me in welcoming Annalise as she gives you more information about our upcoming session.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Lucy. So before we begin, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Myotonic Dystrophy Foundation. We envision a world with treatments and a cure for myotonic dystrophy. We support and connect the myotonic dystrophy community. We provide resources and advocate for care, and we accelerate research towards treatment and a cure. We have a lot of resources and support for the DM community. We have our toolkits and publications, which are resources for care providers and families. These include our anesthesia guidelines, our MDF toolkit, our clinical care and recommendations, and of course, the exercise guide for people living with myotonic dystrophy. We also have our support groups, which are led by trained community volunteers, which create safe spaces to network, learn, and share. We also have our digital academy, where you can view hours of education and inspirational videos by DM experts on demand. And we have our calendar of events, where you can find all of our upcoming support groups, conferences, webinars, and more. These links are being pasted in the chat. Find all of these resources and more at www.myotonic.org. You can also find our brand new Exercising with Myotonic Dystrophy infographic, which was just added to the website today. So you can scan the QR code on the bottom right corner. This session is a part of our Myotonic Dystrophy in Motion Awareness Month. We invite you to join our final session next week, which will be a celebratory Zumba class on July 31st. We also want to invite you to a special webinar tomorrow, July 25th at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern, which will be about DM and the heart. In addition to these amazing events, we also have a limited edition Movement Makes Connection t-shirts, as well as MDF exercise gear. So be sure to get yours before the store closes at the end of the month. I want to take a moment to thank our movement committee for helping put this event together. Our movement committee is made up of experts in the field, as well as DM community members, and we are so grateful for their leadership and ideas that have helped put this event together. We also want to thank our sponsor, Avidity Biosciences. To stay connected with MDF, you can join our mailing list at www.myotonic.org/signup and follow us on social media at Myotonic Strong. If you have any questions during this webinar, please use the Q&A function by clicking the Q&A button and typing your answers out. We won't have time for a live Q&A, but the MDF team will try our best to answer your questions via chat. It's now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the evening, Dr. Katy Eichinger. Dr. Eichinger is involved in the clinical care of adult and pediatric patients with neuromuscular diseases. Additionally, she is part of the neuromuscular research team and is involved in natural history studies and clinical trials for patients with Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, myotonic dystrophy, and facioscapulohumeral dystrophy. Her interests are in outcome measures, health and wellness, and balance. She's been involved in clinical evaluator trainings and assisted in preparing the manual for the pediatric assessment of the CMT natural history study. Welcome.
Thank you, Annalise, for the welcome. Great. So hopefully everyone sees me and sees the slides. So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact of nature on health and wellness, and also talk about physical activity and physical activity in nature. And so to begin, I wanted to go and start by doing a few definitions to kind of set the stage. And when we think about health, we think of it as being free from any illness or injuries. And when we think about wellness, we think about the state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy. And it includes self-acceptance, personal growth, having purpose in life, environmental mastery, autonomy, and positive relations with others. It also includes domains of mental well-being, social well-being, physical well-being, spiritual well-being, activities and functioning, and personal circumstances. So it's a very broad category. And then when we think about nature, nature is the phenomena of the physical world collectively. That includes plants, animals, landscapes, and other features and products of the earth versus humans and the things that we create. We also talk about physical activity, and physical activity is really important, and I'll go over the benefits of physical activity in just a moment. But when we think about physical activity, what we're asking individuals to do, and these are based on the recommendations from the Department of Health and Human Services, and so this is for all of us in society, is we should be engaging in aerobic activity at a moderate intensity for about 2.5 hours a week. And that means that we should be doing 5 days of 30 minutes. But they've also said that any amount of time is good. So 1 minute is better than no minutes, 10 minutes is better than 5 minutes, but any time really matters. And can be counted towards your health and wellness. Physical activity recommendations also encourage people to engage in resistance exercises. So that's the ones that make your muscles work. And we recommend that individuals do that with all their major muscle groups 2 or more days a week. When we talk about doing things at a moderate intensity, and moderate intensity exercise has been shown to be safe in individuals or for individuals who have myotonic dystrophy. And this moderate intensity is defined as being able to talk, but not being able to sing. And some of the examples that we would do, so it gets your heart rate up, gets your respiratory rate up, but it still allows you to carry on a conversation. And these are things like going for a brisk walk, doing water aerobics, doing bicycling either out in nature or on a stationary bike. It can be ballroom dancing, it can be gardening. So it can be lots of different activities that sometimes are just fun and enjoyable, and we do them because we like to do them, but we're still getting benefit from them. And other ones are more just specifically towards exercise. What I think is really important for individuals who may have and deal with symptoms of muscle weakness or things that may make functioning a little bit more challenging is that the recommendations for people who have physical disabilities is that they are supposed to follow the adult guidelines. And so those are the guidelines that I just went over. But if it's not possible because of your limitations, people should be as physically active as their abilities allow. So for somebody who uses a wheelchair for most of their mobility, their physical activity may be just standing from that wheelchair if they're able to. Or someone may choose to just do some arm exercises because their legs are weaker and have more challenges doing those type of things. So what it's recommending is that people should be as physically as their abilities allow them to, and they should avoid inactivity. So we know that there's benefits to physical activity. It helps us control our weight. It reduces our risk of cardiovascular disease, reduces risk for type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. It can reduce the risk for some type of cancers. It strengthens bones and muscles. It can improve your mental health and your mood. It improves your ability to do your daily activities and can help also prevent falls. It also can help you increases your chance of living longer. And so these are the overall benefits of physical activity. So now we get to the combination of benefits of nature, benefits of physical activity, and these are both some of the things that help us from a physical standpoint as well as giving us benefit from the cognitive and emotional side. So there is evidence that being in nature and spending time in nature can help reduce stress. So it helps us, it has been shown to lower cortisol levels. And so cortisol is part of that adrenaline system. It can help relieve anxiety. It also can help improve mood. And so when it can help us enhance our mood, and it can also help us decrease our feelings of depression and anxiety. Being outside or in nature can also help us lower our blood pressure. So again, this is part of that, just kind of overall decreasing our systems or all of the things that kind of rev us up. Nature has also been shown to boost immunity. So being in nature, the way that does this is it helps increase vitamin D levels from being out in the sun and can help improve your immunity. Being outside can also help improve concentration. It can improve sleep. So just being exposed to the light cycles, it helps with your circadian rhythm and can help with sleeping patterns and improve sleep quality. And we know that there's a lot of evidence that's coming from coming up to support the importance of sleep in our overall health and wellness. Nature has also been shown to improve memory and cognition. And I'll go over a little bit of some other things that kind of go along with that. And like I spoke about earlier, I think I put it under stress, but it also can help decrease symptoms of depression, and it can increase our overall heart health just by being engaged with nature. So what they've seen, and when you kind of put them together, is that there are some benefits of doing physical activity in nature. They have noted that levels of physical activity are higher in neighborhoods that are more green. So your green space, if you will. And they did this with even looking at other variables that may influence this. So socioeconomic variables or other things that may confound this kind of study. But really what they did find was that people seem to engage in physical activity more. And it's kind of like a chicken and egg. Is it because the green space is there, people are more active, or do people who are more active choose to live near green spaces because of that? And some of the thoughts behind that, behind why this may occur, is that green spaces can promote physical activity by providing that free, accessible location. And by having that free, accessible location, you can get groups of people together, so that helps with social interaction. It also allows for group activities, whether it be, kicking a soccer ball around or just interacting with people, kids going out and playing and running around, playing tag and things like that. A green space allows for that to happen. They also think that people may spend more time in green spaces because they're aesthetically pleasing. You are enjoying just being able to look around and feeling being surrounded by nature. And so because of that, you spend more time there, and that can also help increase physical activity. They also suggest that green neighborhoods also offer a safe place for people to be. So it's a safe place for people to maybe go biking or hiking because you're not against traffic, or you're in a more isolated area where those activities may be a little bit safer. And often it allows for community programs to happen. So very often people will use those large open spaces for community events, whether they be physical activity, things like a benefit walk or a group yoga class, things like that can be offered in these, because they're larger spaces, they can hold people. So sometimes places use community spaces or green spaces for community programs, I should say. So I think one of the things that I found most fascinating in looking at the literature around nature and health and wellness is that we have to remember that we are multisensory type people. We often have 5 intact senses that can help contribute to our engagement with nature. And I think the most research has been done with vision. And so thinking about all the things that we see and how when we see things about nature, it can lead to those responses or those benefits that I was speaking about with it. So one thing that they did was there was a study where they had people recovering from surgery, and on one side of the hospital, the atmosphere that people looked out over was like a forest or a green space with trees and a nature out their windows of that hospital wing. And on the other side were the bricks of another building. And so really kind of a very plain view. And what they found was, and I found this very interesting, that the people who faced the side of nature actually tended to recover better. They utilized their call bell or their engagement with nursing services or support less, and they had shorter lengths of stay. And I thought that was very interesting. And this is just by the environment of the hospital that they're staying, and nothing that was really truly changed. But things that they took from that is thinking about how to change the environment. So even just putting up pictures of nature can help versus using abstract art. Abstract art tends to raise our anxiety, whereas pictures of nature tend to decrease our anxiety. So I thought there's a lot behind vision and what we see and how that can engage us with nature, and we can get the benefits from nature. Sound or hearing is another way that has been shown to increase our engagement with nature. We tend to get benefits, the nature benefits, from sounds like wind and water and animals, so birds chirping, waterfalls. I know personally I love listening to the water crash against the shore at a beach. I could lay there all day and just kind of listen to that sound. And again, these are, when we talk about these type of things and how they can help us gain benefits from nature, these are the things we're talking about. And we can sometimes even recreate this. I mean, I know that there's many times that you have, cell phones can have sounds playing in the background of different things. And so being able to use audio in our environments to simulate it if we don't have it. I think the other thing that I found interesting about sound is it can kind of tip the scale. So we like sound, we like wind and water and animals, like I said, but sound can become noise pollution too. So in urban settings where you're listening to sirens or cars and you don't get a break from the sound, it also can negatively impact you. So yes, you're still engaged with nature, but it's on the other end of things. And then there's another extreme too, as we think about peace and quiet. The full quiet is actually kind of a signal of danger if things are absolutely still and quiet. And they say that that's really kind of where humming came from, is that we would kind of soothe ourselves and break up that absolute quietness by humming. And so again, there's a happy medium of using sound or engaging with sound as part of engaging with nature. There is some literature behind using touch. So everything from like petting animals, I think, has a fair amount of literature behind it. We also can think about just through association, having tree bark or having dirt or having things that we can touch and feel that remind us of being in nature can also provide the benefits of nature. Using our taste, so eating natural foods, things that are grown in gardens, can also help us feel like we are engaged with nature. And then smell. I found smell to be another kind of interesting one. And there's a lot of things that are beneficial from a smell standpoint. So lots of natural things, flowers, trees. I know I love in the springtime fresh cut grass, and the smell of that just, even if I'm inside, the smell of that just brings me to nature. And then there's some literature that also supports that specific sense. Lavender, I think many of you may have heard about lavender. Whoops. Lavender can help reduce our stimuli and kind of bring us into a settling place. And there's also, I think it's spiced apple. These also have cognitive benefits. And so they've shown to actually affect the brain waves in individuals and can help with cognition and cognitive benefits. And so I think, I think it's very interesting because, like I said, I think when we think about nature, we automatically go to what we can see because that is kind of, probably the overriding sensation that we use so often. But we are multisensory, and I think if we can remember the different sensations senses that we use, it can help us engage in nature in different ways. So we can talk about getting out and about and certainly the benefits of being out and about. Going for a walk in green space or sitting out in green space is obviously the best opportunities for us. However, I know that sometimes you may have physical limitations that minimize your ability to get out into the nature. And so I wanted to think about how do we bring the benefits of nature indoors? And there is a fair amount of literature that talks about getting those same benefits in our house. And again, I think some of that is through using those different senses. And these were some of the suggestions that people had as I looked at the literature. So you can buy flowers or potted plants for your home. That's one way. Collect nature materials. And so you can either decorate with them, or like I said, you can even put them in a place where you can touch them and feel them. And again, that helps you just associate with nature. You can put a spot. I know office spaces for us at the hospital are always best when you can get a window. And so being able to have a nice space to sit near a window where you can look out and look at trees and look at nature or look at the sky, look at the green grass, even for me, is always nice. And so I think if you can set up a space in your house where you can see it, and again, I think this is beneficial for those of us who live in the seasonal climates that don't necessarily want to get outside in the 0-degree weather. Just sitting by the window and watching the snowfall can be can give you some of those benefits of nature. You can use photos to also help remind you or associate with nature. So, taking your favorite pictures of your favorite places in nature, you can put them on your background of your computer. You can put them on your phone, put them on your walls as well. And so again, you're taking pictures of things that you enjoy about nature, and they will give you those same benefits. We talked a little bit earlier about using natural sounds. And so being able to either have recordings or having plays. And I remember at one point there were CDs that you could just buy that would just kind of play nature sounds on repeat. And just the soothingness of that could definitely help you with stress reduction and things like that. And you can also watch videos of nature. So there's lots of things accessible on different streaming platforms and things like that, where you can get nature, either doing virtual walks or live stream of wildlife. I know even some treadmills will have the ability to kind of use nature scenes to go for a walk through. And so even if you're not able to get outside, either because it's 0 degrees out in the middle of winter in Rochester, New York, or because you may have a mobility limitation that keeps you from being able to spend a lot of time outdoors, there are ways to bring the benefits of nature indoors to you. And I think that even just as I was researching and looking at this information, there's a lot of small changes that one can make to really help reap the benefits of being in nature. So those are the things that I had, and I did have some references here too, if people were interested in additional reading. These were not super scientific, but had some additional information and some of the interesting research studies that back up some of these claims and some of the data that supports the benefits of nature. And one of my favorite, like I said, the sensory one. That's the top one, the review of benefits of nature experiences more than meets the eye. And again, that really kind of talks to those other sensations that we pull in to engage with nature. So I will stop sharing and turn it back over to Annalise.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eichinger. That was a wonderful presentation on the importance of nature in our wellness practice. So now I would like to introduce our second speaker of the evening, Payge Purdue. Payge Purdue is a trauma-informed registered yoga teacher and Qigong instructor. With a focus on creating a stronger mind-body connection, Payge brings a meditative atmosphere to the practice. With over 8 years of experience, she brings a wealth of knowledge and a lighthearted, easy approach to each class. She believes that every person can find the calm and stillness within and strives to create an inclusive space for students to explore their practice. She integrates mindfulness and breathing techniques into each class to aid students in cultivating a deep connection with their mind and body. Welcome, Payge.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here and share a little bit of what I love and enjoy and what I'm so passionate about in my life, into this breathwork and mindfulness section of this webinar. To begin, I'd like to explain a little bit of what breathwork and mindfulness really is. Breathwork refers to the breathing techniques that we intentionally use to channel and focus the breath into the body, while mindfulness is noticing what is happening in the present moment without judgment. So you can kind of see how maybe these two play in together. And if you don't now, hopefully by the end of this, you will. Both of these techniques, breathwork and mindfulness, have been used in Eastern practices for thousands of years to help calm the body and the mind. So, with mindfulness, we can use our senses such as touch, our smell, what we can see, what we can feel inside of our bodies, and also in the external world around us. So to begin, I'd like us to just start by, you can either raise your hand or you can lay it in your lap if that's more comfortable for you. Find a comfortable position. You can sit on the floor. You can also sit in a chair. I encourage you to sit upright because we're a little bit active in this, but just find a comfortable place for your hand. And using your eyes, just begin to bring your focus into the hand. Allow your attention to come into the hand. Maybe you noticed a little bit of softening. Maybe you bring the mind into the fingers. Maybe wiggle them a little bit. And just let your attention settle in the hand. Maybe you are already beginning to notice the breath and the natural rhythms that are occurring in your body. And then we'll bring awareness into both of our hands. So you can either have them laid down in your lap or have them out in front of you. Just bringing the awareness into both of the hands. Noticing what you feel. Allow the hands to soften, as all we're doing is observing and noticing. Now I want you to remove your hands away from your attention and notice what you're left with. You're left with your awareness, already seeping into the body. And we're going to use this awareness to begin to notice that natural breath. We're not changing, we're not doing. We're just coming to notice what is already happening in the body. You might be able to feel your heart, or you can feel the rise and fall in your chest or belly. Just as the roots are the foundation of trees, our breath is the foundation of our being. It allows us to come into ourselves, to recalibrate, and to notice what is really going on. You might notice the breath coming in through the nose and out through the nose. And you feel the breath come out on the exhale. What can you notice that is happening inside as you inhale and exhale? Maybe you feel the lungs expanding, the belly growing big. Then on the exhale, everything just letting go. Allow the body to relax. Just breathing with what's naturally occurring. And remember that at any point in time, this is the breath you can always come back to. Now, you are more than welcome to stay here, and you're always welcome to come back to this breath, or you can come and follow me. And we're going to use the hands to help create that awareness of the breath in the body. So be sure that you do this gently and with ease. And if you find yourself becoming frustrated or find any discomfort, come back to your natural breathing pattern. But if you're going to come with me, we're going to take the hands and we're going to cup the hands around the rib cage, gently placing them on the body. So we're not going in, we're just placing them around the rib cage. And fingers come to touch in the soft spot in between the rib cage. And just send your awareness and your breath into this area. Maybe you notice the breath coming deeper into the body. As we connect to the diaphragm, allowing the breath to become circular and smooth. And if you find that your breath is staggering or choppy, don't try so hard. Just allow it to be and just stay with it. This is the part where we become mindful of where we are in this current moment, where we can tune in to where we actually are. Allow the shoulders to relax down the body to the best of your ability. And just continue to breathe. Maybe you've noticed that your breath is becoming more slow. Each inhale and exhale becomes just a little bit longer. As we bring our awareness into the body. Now keeping one hand near the diaphragm, we're going to take our other hand and we're going to place it on the belly. We're going to bring that awareness into our belly, and if this becomes too much for you, feel free to go back to the natural rhythm. It's okay to meet yourself where you are in this moment. Feel the belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Allowing our breath to encompass our full body. Allow the breath to fill the belly like a balloon. And then exhale. Release. And as we do breath work and mindfulness practices, you may notice that your mind wants to go anywhere except in the body. You might be thinking of your list to do after this is done. You might be thinking of what you're going to eat for dinner. You might just be thinking about what happened today, or just wherever your mind wants to go. When this happens, it's totally normal and absolutely okay. And just like the ocean ebbs and flows, such does our mind. And when you find yourself caught up in a thought, just allow yourself to come back to the breath. And check in and see how you feel in this moment. As your breath becomes more smooth and connected. Feel free to stay here or go back to your natural rhythm of your breath. Or if you'd like to continue to follow me, We're going to remove our hands and we're going to take them into the low back area. So right above the hips, you can notice on me, I'm right about here. You can either place your hands there, or if it's too uncomfortable, you can also put your back up against a chair, or you can also lay on the floor and with your feet planted, your knees bent. That is the best posture to really get that feel, because you want to use your hands or the awareness of the back of the chair or the ground to feel the breath filling up the back. So we're bringing the awareness of the breath into the back of the body. And it's okay if this is hard to feel. Just by using your awareness, even if it's not noticeable, you can still do this. We're still keeping up with the diaphragm and the belly breathing to the best of your ability. And just as I was using that balloon analogy, your inhales are going to blow up your torso all around to expand out. And then on the exhale, just allow everything to come back in. And feel free to release your hands at any point if it becomes uncomfortable. But just focus on bringing those three elements together. Now we're going to move into a breathing posture. I really like employing this to really help open up the sides of the body as well. So we're going to start with our right hand, and we're going to place it on our head, right behind the ear. And placing it there, the elbow goes out to the side. And then we're gently just going to fold to the right, finding a small bend in the right side of the body. You can place the left hand on the knee, on the ground, or on your side body, the right side body. And just feel the breath filling up this right side of the body, giving the right side of the body a massage. This is also where our liver is located. Allowing the breath to just massage and compress the right side of the body. Allow your shoulder to relax. We're not like hunched up, just relax to the best of your ability. And then on your next inhale, we're going to find our way back up to center and release the hand. And just sit with this and notice what's happening in the body. Do you feel a difference between the left side and the right side of your body? Just noticing and observing. Continue to just breathe. Now we're going to move to the other side. So we're going to take our left hand and place it behind the left ear. Left elbow goes out to the side to the best of your ability. Then we're going to begin to bend and slightly compress in the left side of the body. Not going for too much of a bend, just a small one. You can place the hand on the side body or on the knee for support. Whatever works best in your body. And just feel the compression in the left side. Maybe you can also feel the breath in the right side of the body as well. But if that's too much, just focus on this left side. Observe what you feel in the body. Maybe how this side might feel different than the right side. Does it feel easier? Or does it feel a little bit more difficult? You might notice a little bit of something in your shoulders since we're holding this for just a second. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come back to center, release the arms. Great job, everyone. Then we'll just notice what we feel in the body now. Can you remember how you felt at the beginning of class? Notice how you might feel any form of difference between then and now. Do you feel more calm? Do you feel more connected? Or do you feel the opposite of that? Because that's okay if you feel that way too. But hopefully, feeling a little bit more calm. The breath has slowed down. We can feel connected to our inner nature. We feel the sides of the body, the belly and the back, inflating with the inhale and releasing with the exhale. Feeling that whole body breath. Feeling this present moment that we are sharing together. Just continue to breathe. So we only have a few more minutes together. These few more minutes are giving you the space to come back into yourself. And remember that this is a space that you can always come back to. If life is feeling hectic, if your body is feeling, feel free to just come to the breath and close the eyes. Because this is a space where you are welcome. This space is made for you. This space is your body. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to begin to slowly open them and take in the world around you. Maybe you notice what's to the left of you and try to see it with new eyes, taking it all in. And then we'll peer over to the right, taking in the room as it is there, not judging, not making a list of things for us to do, just taking it in as it is in this moment. And we'll come back to facing center. And with that, we'll come to a close for this little session. I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to guide you. And I hope that this webinar has been helpful and special. And I'll hand it back over to Annalise. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, this marks the end of our week 3 Natural World program. So thank you so much to Dr. Eichinger for the amazing presentation and to Payge Purdue for the great guided meditation and breath work. And of course, thank you to our community members for joining. The next week is the final week for MDIM Awareness Month. The theme will be motivation. So our session will be a virtual Zumba class to celebrate all that we've learned and achieved throughout the month. This will be held on July 31st at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, at the end of this session, you will be directed to a brief survey that we ask you to fill out. As you all know, MDF loves your feedback, and we really, really appreciate your time in filling out our survey. So thank you so much for attending.